curious from your perspective. This league is trending towards shooting a lot more threes and stuff. And I know you guys emphasize getting a lot of good looks in three as well. But when it comes to defense, what's your approach to defending the three-point line, and what kind of looks are you more comfortable giving up compared to others?
Without giving up all our secrets defensively, we want to make sure we're a team that, first and foremost, take away easy baskets in transition. And teams can get the ball, kick it ahead, get easy threes. It fuels their energy. In the half court, we want to keep teams out of the paint, and really we just want to contest shots at a high rate.
Coach, defensively, there was a lot of good things seen in that second quarter. I know a lot of credit was given to Matt Ryan, the offense and stuff, but you guys did a little bit of change-ups where I know half of the plays, or seemingly every third play, you were going into a zone. What dictates when you guys go into a zone?
Well, Memphis historically has a really solid offense, and we wanted to throw their rhythm and timing off. And that's what the zone is meant to do, is force you to take shots that you probably wouldn't get. Maybe those shots are open, but they're out of rhythm.
And how good was it just to see you guys return back to what you were doing last season? Keeping those threes really highly contested, and then, of course, keeping guys away from near the rim.
It was great. You know, that's a part of our identity, our foundation defensively, and it was good to see the carryover from training camp, preseason games. We had that week of practice that we talked about. We were able to go to Memphis and put it all together.
Early on in camp, you emphasized doubling down on offensive rebounds and knowing that, as long as you're not having a lot of live ball turnovers, you'll be pretty solid in transition. It looks like you guys did a great job of that last night, both on the glass and transition defense. Are you satisfied with the way that was executed?
I am. I'm satisfied with it. A lot of positives from that game that we can pull, that we watched film today. We got on the floor and did some work. We know it's early in the season. We can still clean up the turnovers. We are on our guys constantly about that. That helps your defense be even better, and it helps your offense. So if we cut down, we had 21, if we can get that down to 15, 14, those are more possessions that we get quality looks.
Coach, you talked about how everybody really contributed in last night's win. Are you seemingly or thinking about maybe going to and sticking with a 10-man rotation for a while?
We don't know. The game just sometimes it causes for you to make some adjustments and changes, and we try to leave that space to have some feel of what we might do. But we like what we saw from last game, and we'll continue to work off that.
Matt Ryan's been here for a couple days, comes in and completely flips the script there in the second quarter. What did you like from him last night?
I just love the fact that his preparation allowed him to take advantage of the opportunity. He's been in some big moment situations. Obviously, he hit a big one against us when he played for the Lakers last season to send the game into overtime. They won that game. He was with Boston when they went to the finals. So he has some experience, and he's hungry. He wants to get out there and play.
Speaking of Matt Ryan, he was in a lot of units with CJ and Jordan, just a lot of shooting on the court. JV was also in those units. What do you like about those configurations? From my perspective, at least, it seemed like there was a lot of space for guys to operate in. JV was getting good looks. Herb was able to run a little pick and roll with JV with shooters spread out. What did you like about that configuration?
The biggest thing is I like that we went out and competed with that group. And we had some moments there where we got a little shaky, but we just settled down. We ran our offense. We kept the game simple, made simple plays, hit some big shots. And like you said, more spacing for everybody to operate.
Going back to the turnovers for a second, Coach, is that something you're just going to have to live with? I know, for instance, when Steve took over with Golden State, those guys were averaging, I think, over 20, turnovers for the first 3 weeks or so, but he let them play through it. Is that kind of the same mentality you have with these guys?
We don't want to have that mentality, but, it's just something we got to continue to learn from. It happens. Let's be conscious of it. And some of the turnovers are silly. Post-entry passes, the travels, things that we can control.
At the end of the game, it seemed like you guys went to a few actions where he kind of got the ball face up around the elbow, free throw line, guys in deep corners and with some weak side action going on. How comfortable do you feel with those looks, and how much pressure do you think that's putting on the defense when they have to worry about the shooters in the corners as well as Z just having that kind of space to work with?
It's tough to guard him when he catches the ball in the middle of the floor. with a live dribble, and you're putting shooters and spacing around them. So it's a look that we go to at times. And Z is excellent at making plays from the middle of the floor.
I don't know how much prep you've done on the Knicks. They obviously have another game tomorrow night, but what is going to be the focus against them on Saturday?
We haven't done much prep on the Knicks yet. Today's practice is mainly about us, talking about the positives, cleaning up some of the improvements. We'll work on them tomorrow, but we know that they're a tough team. Brunson, Barrett, Julius Randle, they carry those guys offensively. Quickly comes off the bench. He speeds the tempo up. So they're a tough team, tough matchup. We'll get a look at them. Their last game against Boston, and then they play Chicago, I believe. And they play Atlanta. So you see, I don't know who's playing who, but they play Atlanta, and then we'll go from there.
How important was JV in both terminating possessions in terms of getting the rebounds as well as just kind of backlining the defense?
JV was huge. He had a really solid game for us. He shot the ball when he was open. He rebounded the ball. He made some big plays down in the post. Really proud of him.
How you feeling first game? Just being able to get some minutes out there.
Winded. There's no way to emulate game shape. So obviously it was tough out there that first stint, but once the game slowed down for me, kind of in the second half, I felt good. Felt like I was moving well, and obviously a little rusty, but I was just happy to be playing.
Larry, what was the biggest positives you take away from yesterday's games, and maybe some things you guys need to work on too?
I thought our defense collectively was pretty good. We gave up some open 3-point looks, but mainly to their not dead-eye 3-point shooters. So we can live with some of those. I thought, I'd like to see our assist numbers rise a little bit, but we're a pretty heavily ISO team, and those guys got it going. So a win is a win, and we're happy with just about anything at this point.
Last year, I think I'd asked you about how good of a job a team like Phoenix does putting pressure on the low man, forcing guys to choose between the driver or the shooter. At the end of the game there, they got Z in a lot of space, facing up at the elbow. Similar situation. Do you feel like that's a weapon that the team can continue to take advantage of? And do you feel like the team is uniquely suited to apply pressure to other folks in those configurations?
Yeah, look, you can get the ball Z anywhere on the court, and he's going to figure something out. But obviously, the more space we can get him, the better. That's the hardest thing to find in today's NBA game is spacing on the offensive end. So finding creative ways to get him at the elbows, at the mid-posts, at the top of the key with other action going on, basically distraction action on sides, on the other side, whatever's going on is going to be a staple for us going forward for sure, but not just Z, but BI and CJ as well.
You frequently mentioned CJ as a professional scorer. How'd you feel about his game last night, and particularly the quality of looks that he was getting too?
Yeah, look, a professional scorer, he's just smooth. When he gets to his spots, and there's not many people that are better than him when he gets there. So, again, generating quality looks for our guys is something that CJ hasn't had in, what is this, year 11 for him? 11 years. BI hasn't had in however many years. He's 7 years now, and getting Z some space. Obviously once Trey comes back, it'll be better. But we got some shooting on the court with him, and I think obviously the better looks we get, the better percentage we're going to shoot.
Are you attributing those looks to the kind of the changes that coach like JB has brought in, or is it just more like having the personnel on the court now together?
I think it's having the personnel together. This is the roster was built to be healthy, and when we're healthy, we're a monster, and there's no one that can deny that. So I think, I think that's going forward. Obviously, JB's been great for us. Borrego's been awesome, and his ideas and implementing in the offense have been great. But I think it's more so that we have 3 all-world scorers, and when they're on the court together, you can't double all of them.
Larry, how good was it for a change to see Matt Ryan making threes for your team?
He was almost my game recap. He was this close. Maybe one more 3 would have earned it. But no, it was great. It was great. Obviously, the first time I saw him in the building, it was like, what? Who allowed you in here? But no, it's great. Obviously, he came in and provided such a spark last night. For me, it's not, obviously he made his threes last night, but for me, it's not even the fact that he made them. It's the fact that he took them at the clip that he did. That's going to provide so much more spacing, and teams know you can't leave them. So that would have been that would have been his life. That would have been his life. You guys would have witnessed a beatdown. No, I think it's just the fact that he took them, and now you can't leave him. So now we have another guy on the court that when we get Z in advantageous situations, that's a guy you can't help off of. So just another quiver in our, what's it called? Arrow in our quiver. There you go.
And what else stands out to you about Matt's game, right? Everybody knows him as a shooter, but what else stands out to you? Because he seems to have a little bit of other things he can do out there front of court for you guys.
Yeah, no, he's got some chippiness to him. He, was talking on the defensive end, really, really active. I hadn't been, it's my fault. I hadn't been watching him too much. I'm just paying attention to our team. But the fact that he came in and gave us, what was he, a team leading plus 20-some, plus minus last night on your debut after a few, really no practice, doesn't happen by luck. So hopefully, no, you're good. So hopefully we found a gem, and I look forward to seeing more of him.
I should have heard Jones last night. The guy just makes winning plays throughout the night. I think there was AD pointed out on the stream last night. He just literally screened 2 guys on one set. What'd you think of him?
Look, my vocabulary is pretty vast, and I don't have the words to describe Herb Jones. He's just a menace on both ends. Obviously defensively, we know that, first team all defense, me and Trey are going to be beating that drum all year again. But offensively, just the little things that he's implemented to his game, the cutting, the offensive rebounding, which we saw, was on display last night, the fast break leakouts, which I keep encouraging him to do. Hey, if you run, I will throw it. Herb is just, again, I'm trying to think of the words, and he's just perfect for this team, and there's not a guy on the roster that wouldn't go to war with him or for him.
Offensively, we've seen, both Herb and Dyson struggle or sometimes pass up open shots. Seems like they're really in a good space. Have you noticed something similar? Like Dyson had a drive right when he came in the game. Herb didn't hesitate on catch and shoot threes. Do you think we're seeing them, elevate, take another step up on that end of the floor?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like I said about Matt Ryan, like the fact it's not so much, obviously it's great when you make them. We love that. But the fact that you take them and make the opposing team respect that you are an option from out there is huge. And I don't know if there was anybody that worked harder than Herb this summer. He's on his shooting. He's been here every day with Fred every single day. And so when he's open, we want him to shoot. We trust the work that he's put in. And same thing with Dyson. We've seen it. We've seen all the work. The shots go in, the shots go out, him just bring himself along. And there's nobody more disappointed than us when he passes up a shot, because we want him shooting that, both of them.
Larry, what did you think of how the team executed the zone looks you gave them against the Grizzlies?
How we executed our zone defense?
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I think we held them to 0.7 points per possession, which if you can do that in the zone, any kind of defense, that bodes well for the future. So obviously, they were missing a few shooters, but I think going forward, especially this next game, we could really throw some zone out against the Knicks and muck that up. I thought we were great. Our activity was good. JV was awesome at protecting the rim, so it'll be a weapon for us.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give Zion's dunk over Triple J?
On account of the fact that I had the best seat in the house, I'll give it a 9.5, because I'm holding out hope that there's another 0.5 in there somewhere. Yeah, I shouldn't say holding out hope. I got another 0.5, me. So, we're still waiting on that perfect 10 out of 10. Between me, Z, and Trey, one of us going to bring it.
Just going back to the defense, so you guys were elite in transition last night. You guys also were really, really good on the offensive glass. There hasn't been many teams that are great in both. Do you feel like this team has a makeup to be great in both?
I do think so. Yeah, obviously that team, Memphis, and not just Memphis, but Desmond Bane specifically, was a monster in transition last year. So trying to hold him, I think we held him to 2 transition points, him specifically, and that was the goal going into the game. So again, like you said, we executed that awesome, and that was the first bullet point in our slide today when we watched film. So, but I think we've got a good balance of crashers on offensive glass and non-crashers, right? Like if if Herb's on the court, he's going. If I'm on the court, I'm going. JV's going. Dyson's going. But other than that, unless your 2 feet are in the paint, you're really getting back. So we've got a really good mix of guys that are going to throw themselves towards the glass, and I like to think that me, JV, and Herb are pretty damn good offensive rebounders. So hopefully we can just keep generating more of those looks. And like you said, if you can defend in transition and offensive rebound, I don't think we've seen that a whole lot in the NBA. So it'll be a good one for us.
And how much does it help just having a lot of interchangeably sized players to get back in transition?
Right. No, I mean, it's big time, and we're not even, 2 of our more versatile players are even on the sideline right now with Najee and Trey. So we're just going to keep getting, the size we've got out there right now. We've just got basketball players, just hoopers that can, no real pigeons right now. We got BI, CJ, and Z bought into the defensive end, and obviously that's a key for us. But like you said, if we can maintain fluidity and versatility in the defensive end, then six defense last year. I don't know what will be this year. Higher.
You mentioned pigeons. I gotta ask you: is that just terminology for?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Pigeon is a universal term for go at him. Go at him. Yeah. So we identify pigeons going to each game that hey, if any of our 3 get them on them. You've seen the Kobe clip, get out the way. And so we're limiting our number of pigeons on the team this year. That's the goal.
So Dyson, about that defensive performance last night, it reminded us of last season, right? The way you guys were really stopping guys from getting to the rim and also contesting threes. What do you take away from yesterday's game?
Yeah, I thought we're very good at our team defense. Team defense last night. Everyone had each other's backs. We're rotating. Being there on shifts on guys like Jaren Jackson Jr. like to get downhill. You have to be there, stop them early, and I thought our overall defense was very good. We communicate and switch and being physical. So that was the main part that helped us get the win last night.
Dyson, what do you feel about when you guys implement the zone defense for a player too? Do you feel like that really is something that can work and be successful moving forward for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Last night was really successful for us. We ran it a couple of times and got some stops. I think forced a lot of late shot clock shots on that as well. So we haven't run zone much at all. So for us to go out there and execute it was definitely something we can pull out now.
You played a few minutes with a lineup that featured CJ, Jordan, Matt. What was it like working with that kind of space and having that kind of shooting around you?
Yeah, it was great. Those guys spaced the floor really well, and obviously CJ can shoot it, get downhill. I like to get downhill, so I think just having that spacing and making the opposing team have to own their man and guard their man and be closer opens up driving lanes and opportunities for us to get to the rim. So I think when we have that lineup in, we're really good.
I feel like it creates confusion for opponents on the defensive end, where especially when you're pushing in transition, who to match up and what to take away.
Exactly, and people aren't used to guarding that lineup either. Especially with no big out there, and like you said, it creates confusion, and people aren't used to guarding that. So just switching it up, I think the coaches did really good with rotating guys through last night. So hopefully we can see the lineup out of there again.
Can you describe what it's like comparing last season, your first game, to this season's first game, where you are mentally?
Yeah, I'm just a lot more comfortable out there. I know what I'm doing. I know what I have to do to help the team win. I feel like I can be more aggressive still, but I'm still figuring out how to play with different lineups and stuff. But I feel a lot more comfortable out there. Getting to my spots. Defending, switching. Being out there with a guy like Herb, where we can switch, with bigger guys as well. So, I just feel a lot more comfortable out there.
And speaking of Herb, how much fun is it when both of you guys are out there on the court causing havoc? Do you feel like that's something that, can be a real weapon for you guys moving forward? Yeah,
for sure. I think, it's great being out there with Herb, another great defender. So just being able to, put him on the 5-man, put me on the 1-man, and when they set screens, switch it, they get no advantage from it. So I think that's one of our strengths we have this year. And the other guys on that lineup, can defend as well. So we've got a lot of length when we go that small ball. So it's been working for us early.
How much confidence does it give y'all as a group to win the first game on the road and then head into the first home game with a win already, on the books?
I think it's important to get off to a great start. Being 1-0, that's important. Gets the energy going, gets the team chemistry up. So, we want to keep carrying it over and hopefully go on a big run here to start the season.